How's it going, everyone? It's Zerker and welcome back to the channel, and we're going to talk about my experience with No Manga May, what I was able to read, and if I was successful on completing No Manga May. To give you a little recap, I took the month of May to participate in No Manga May, which is basically buying no manga during the month of May. Along with that, I wanted to take that chance since I wasn't purchasing manga, so that means I wasn't hunting for manga. I took the opportunity to actually volunteer some time at work on my own personal time to study up, to get more acquainted with the internal systems that our work uses for advancement in my career. And it also gave me an opportunity to kind of get something sorted out with my parents because they are moving and I will be moving into their house, where I will be taking over the payments and everything for. So I'm going to be buying their house from them and living there. So to give you a recap, or to give you an update on everything, as far as the house and moving situation is concerned, if everything goes to plan, I should be out of the apartment by the end of July. As far as the work thing kind of goes, I've done all of the courses for the most part that I can do. As far as what my grades are, I don't know if they gave me a grading system or not. It's just basically a tutorial system that shows you how the programs work, just to kind of get you familiar with the systems that these positions use. So I've completed all those. As far as classroom training goes, apart from what I can do now is basically what we call shadowing. So I would shadow somebody in that position on my own personal time. That's something I've done in the past. But with those shadows, they don't really teach you a whole lot because there is the opportunity, or there is the potential for you to see very sensitive information about your coworkers. So they don't show you a whole lot. They don't give you a whole lot of freedom to kind of move around and play with the system. So it's more of, you kind of sit in the back, you observe, you don't look at any emails or anything like that. So I've done it in the past. I just never took the real opportunity to actually sit down and really try to learn anything. And that's just mainly because, like I said earlier, there's a lot of confidential information about your peers that they don't really want you to be seeing. But I am going to look into that a little bit more. I'm going to talk to the assistant managers for each of the positions I'm looking at, and it's that way I express my interest and see if they'll allow me to actually play with some of the software in real time, whether it be changing somebody's schedule or filing a report or something like that. And did I get to read some manga? I got to read quite a bit of manga. Was I successful on purchasing no manga? Nope. So I've been selling some manga that I don't read or don't want anymore on eBay. And during one of the times I was processing a couple sales, I noticed a listing for... Actually, I'm just going to show you. Hold on. So I noticed a listing for Go-Go 13 Volume 6. And this is one I don't have. Brand new, sealed still. And it was actually a really, real good price. Pretty much retail, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I probably paid a little bit more than retail, maybe like $15 grand total. That's shipping included and everything, so it wasn't too bad. So this was the first. This was like mid-May when I got this, and then same seller had these two, had these two Go-Go 13s, Volume 3 and Volume 1 here. These were about 15 a piece, I believe it was. So, but that was it. That's all I bought in May. I sat on it for like a couple hours thinking there's no way I'm gonna get a chance to buy these again, especially at these prices. So I just said, what, I will make the exception for these two because this is going to be a very hard series to collect, and I really want to get Go-Go 13 completed now that I'm like almost there. I just need volumes 2, 4, and 5. So I just need 3 more volumes, and then I'll have the entire set. So this was what failed me on my no manga journey in May. As far as what I read, I was able to complete 2 full series and kind of get caught up on one and just grab 2 random volumes that I hadn't really started. So I've read The Maid I Recently Hired Is Mysterious. This is Volume 2. Read this, and I'm very much on the side of not buying this one anymore just because it's very boring. There is an anime coming out for this. I don't know how they're going to adapt the anime for this, and I think I'm just going to give that the shot, or I guess that the watch more than reading this, just because it's got its moments where it's really good and really interesting and like quite fun to read, but there's a lot of bullshit to get through to get to those points. So I'm most likely will be dropping this one. Follow that up, I started reading Lust Gias Volume 1. This is a lot raunchier than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, this is 100% a bona fide nasty man manga. And lastly, I was able to get caught up on Inside Mari Volume 8. And honestly, I'm going to have to bench this series for a minute because there was such a long gap between Volume 7 and 8 for me. And I totally forgot a lot of what was going on. And it took me about almost near the end of this particular volume for me to actually kind of start remembering things and like why things are going the way they are or how they ended up the way they are. And I originally thought this was the final volume, but there's one more coming out. And yeah, when that comes out, I'm gonna have to reread the whole series from the very beginning just so I can understand exactly everything going on. But so far, I actually really enjoy Inside Mari. And one of the series I was able to complete reading was Hell's Paradise, all 13 volumes. I'm gonna say this with Hell's Paradise as I try to juggle this without knocking them over. When I first started it, Hell's Paradise was amazing. I was really enjoying everything I was reading. I was like reading multiple volumes like back to back some nights, just being enthralled with the world that Yuji Kaku created. But somewhere along the lines, I started kind of falling off with the series. Not to say it wasn't bad, I just think it got I think just for me, it started getting repetitive. And for me, I think it's just because when you're reading Hell's Paradise and you're seeing the type of things that are going on and the violence and everything, you kind of forget that this is a shonen manga. You know, it's like a shonen, but it has like, to me, it feels like it has some seinen aspects to it. I just got taken aback when like I started seeing the same people come back or the same fights kind of happening again. And I was like, dude, this is just like a shonen. And it is. But, you know, I pushed through it and I'm really glad I did because honestly, this was such a fun read once I kind of got over that this is a shonen with seinen aspects. And I really do highly recommend you guys to give this one a shot, especially now that the anime is coming out. And I do believe the anime for this is going to be incredible. Because there's one thing I absolutely loved about this was the detailed backgrounds and the fight scenes. And I honestly, truly believe that once this anime comes out and we get more or I guess even if we get more previews for this anime, people are going to lose their minds because I think when they start seeing the creatures and the world and how beautiful and colorful it's going to actually end up being, they're going to flip because this, I think, will do a lot better in anime format than manga format. Only because you get the colorization and the action as it's intended to be seen because this lacking color, I think even if Viz released this with a couple colored pages, this would have been amazing. I really believe that when the anime comes out and they get all the coloring and everything and the palette set to this and you see the action, this will be an incredible anime for when it finally does arrive. So do I recommend Hell's Paradise? Hell yes. Give the manga a read. Definitely watch the anime because it's worth it. It is really worth it. Now let's go on to the next series that I read. And I was finally able to read, finally, after hearing so many great things about this series, Pluto. All 8 volumes of Pluto. And this is honestly the first Urasawa manga I actually completed. As you can see, I do have 20th Century Boys, but I've only read the first volume and put it back. Not to say it's bad, it's just, I think at the time, it just wasn't in my interest. And if you're somebody who wants to get into Urasawa's work, I honestly believe that Pluto is a good step to get into. So what is Pluto? Pluto is basically the retelling of Astro Boy. I almost said Adam, but that's his name. But yeah, it's basically the retelling of Astro Boy. But it covers so much more than just fights. There's lots of political drama. There's fighting in this. There's lots of, I guess you could call, best way to say it is racism, but it's more like racism towards robots. And it just has a little bit of everything that makes it perfect. And the story flows so wonderfully in this. This was one series when I was reading the first volume, I was kind of like, all right, yeah, this is pretty decent. But then once that first volume ended and you kind of got to like the big cliffhanger ending, I immediately started reading volume 2 and I was like, this is fucking dope. I really enjoyed Pluto. And I know Pluto's kind of hard to get your hands on, especially I think I've been seeing a lot of volume 1s out of stock. If you can get your hands on it, definitely read it, definitely check it out because this is awesome. Especially if you're somebody on the fence, like I said, that wants to get into Urasawa's work. This is a very good stepping stone to venture into the style of manga or the style of stories that he kind of does. It's a stepping stone to see kind of his artwork, and from there you can decide, yeah, I want to read Monster. Yeah, I want to read 20th Century Boys. Yeah, I want to read, or I want to do. If you want to get in Urasawa's work, this is a great step to get into. Definitely check it out. So that is the update slash reading log slash what's going on or what has happened through my absence in May. I will say this: June is shaping up to be a very good month. I am gonna put this out there right now. There will be a link for it down below. I'm going to start a dedicated Instagram for this channel, or like manga in general. I want to share some of the things I get more outside of YouTube, but also have it connected with everything. On top of that, what day is it? It is the 9th of this, so for this recording. On the 12th or 13th, I'm starting a new schedule for work, and I should be having more opportunity or more free time to do things that I want to do in a way. So I'm hoping that I can start streaming a little bit more on Twitch. I would love to get more ways into connected with you guys, to talk to you guys, and whether it be just be playing video games, whatever, we can figure all that out. But I definitely want to get back into doing more things online. Like I said, streaming, this, Instagram. That was the May update video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.